Hello and welcome to the part 2 of the chapter called Python Fundamentals. I hope you have already watched the part 1 of this particular chapter. If not, you can always check out. I have given out the link in the description. So today's topic of discussion will basically be about literals, operators and punctuators. So in the previous part, I have already discussed about tokens, and there are different types of tokens which are keywords, identifiers, literals, operators and punctuators. In the part 1 of this particular chapter video, I have discussed about keywords and identifiers. In this part, I will be basically discussing about literals, operators and punctuators. So let's try to understand the meaning of the word literal. So literals basically refers to the constants. In mathematics, you have already learnt about the constants. So if I write an expression like 2x plus 3, here 2 and 3 are called constants. Constants means those objects whose values cannot be changed. That means they have a fixed values. Okay, so it may be defined as the data items that have a fixed value. Now we'll go to the types of literals. They are string literals, numeric literals, Boolean literals, special literal none, and finally we have literal collections. So we'll be discussing about string literals, numeric, Boolean and special literal none, but literal collections will be discussing in a different chapter. Okay. So let's begin with string literals. So what are string literals? A string literal may be defined as a sequence of characters surrounded by quotes. So the meaning of the word string is that it refers to a sequence of characters. How can we identify a particular constant as a string? If something is enclosed within quotes, it may be single quotes, double quotes or triple quotes, then we can say that that object is a string. So single or double quotes are used in case of single line strings. So there are two types of strings, single line strings and multi-line strings. I will be coming to both of them one by one. So in case of single line strings, you have to use either single quotes or double quotes. So triple quotes are used in case of multi-line strings. Single line string means that if the string is spread only across one line, then it is called as a single line string, and if it is spread across more than one lines, then it is called as a multi-line strings. So in case of multi-line strings, we will be basically using triple quotes, and in case of single line strings, you can either choose to use single quotes or double quotes. For example, examples of strings are like Rahul. If we enclose Rahul within quotes, then this is a group of characters, so it will be called as a string. Hello world 1 2 3 AB1 etc. Now some of you might have this question that 1 2 3 is a number, but why am I saying it to be a string? See, anything enclosed within quotes will be referred to as a string only. Now we'll go to the types of strings. Okay, so first is single line string and the second is multi-line strings. Let's begin our discussion of single line strings. So it is created by using single or double quotes. As I have already discussed in the previous slide, single line strings are spread across one line only, and it is created by using single lines or double. It is created by using either single quotes or double quotes. For example, hello, you can write either in double quotes or within single quotes. Let's try to see it. So if I write, let's say x equals to hello. Now this is a string. I have enclosed it within this one single quotes. It is fine, but I can also choose to enclose it within double quotes. It will give me the same result. Okay, so it has given me the same result. Okay, so there is no difference whether you do it using single quotes or double quotes. Okay. Next example is say 1 2 3 or 1 2 3. So if I write, let's say y equals to 1 2 3, it is a number, but if I write y equals to within quotes, then it is not a number, it is a string. Got it? Next, if I write AB1C or AB1C, within single or double quotes, then these are also known as strings. I hope the concept of string is clear. Next, you should keep this in mind that even if you enclose numbers within quotes, it would be treated as a string. As in the case of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is generally what? It is a number, but if I enclose it within quotes, then it will be converted into a string, not numbers. You should keep this in mind. So, if you intend to use a number, then do not surround it within quotes. But for alphabets and all, you should definitely enclose it within quotes. Next, we will go to multi-line strings. So, it is created when text is to be spread across multiple lines. Sometimes you want that the text is to be spread across more than one lines. If you want that the text is to be spread across more than one lines, then you will use the concept of multi-line strings. Now, multi-line strings can be created using two ways. Let us discuss both of them one by one. So, the first way is by adding a backslash at the end of single or double quote string, and the second is by typing the text in triple quotes. So, we can create multi-line strings by any of the two methods, by using a backslash and giving double quotes, or by using it within triple quotes. Let us see the first one, that is adding a backslash at the end of a single or double quotes string. So, this method is used when output is required in the same line. If you require the output in the same line, but you want to make it as a multi-line string, then you will use this method, that means adding a backslash. I will give you an example for that. Let us do it practically and see. So, if I write A equals to, within single quotes, if I write hello and just give this symbol of called backslash and press enter key, then I will automatically get 3 dots. That means the string is not yet over. So, after that, if I write world and just close the single quotes, and then if I display A, then I will get hello world. Hello world I am getting in the same line or in different line? I am getting hello world in the same line. Instead of single quotes, you can also choose to use double quotes. Here, even if I use double quotes, I will get the same result. Okay. So, this is a multi-line string, but I wanted the output to be in a single line. Therefore, I have used the method of giving backslash. Okay. Here, as the example says, hello world given within single quotes and print A, then I am getting the result hello world in a single line itself. So, this is the output. The output is received in a single line only. Next method is by typing the text in triple quotes. So, this method is used when the output is to be spread across multiple lines. If you want the output to also come in more than one lines, then you will enclose the text in triple quotes. Let us see it with the help of an example. Let us say I will write A equals to triple quotes hello and then press the enter key. I am not giving the backslash now. So, after I press the enter key, the 3 dots will come together. So, here I can write world and then again close the triple quotes, and for seeing the output I can just give A and I am getting the output as hello slash and world. Slash and means the output is received in the next particular line. Okay. So, you can also choose to use the print statement. If you use the print A, then this slash n will not come, and actually the result will come in the next line. Okay. But if you just give A, then also it will come in the next line, but it will show slash n, which stands for new line, instead of actually printing it in the new line. Okay. So, I hope it is clear. If you enclose it within triple quotes, then the output will come in multi-lines, but if you enclose it within single or double quotes and use the backslash method, then the output will come in a single line itself, as the example says here. Okay. Here see hello world, in hello world I have used the triple quotes, therefore, while using the print function I am getting the output in different lines. So, this is the output. Okay. Next we come to numeric literals or numeric constants. So numeric literals, they are categorized basically into three types. Let's see the types one by one. So the first type is int. Int stands for integers. Next type is your float, and the third type is your complex. So int is basically used for positive or negative whole numbers without decimal point. So if you want to denote positive or negative whole numbers without decimal points, then it will come under the type of integers. If you are representing real numbers with a decimal point, then it will come under float. And if you are denoting complex numbers, then the data type will be what? It will be complex. Complex number you will be studying in this year itself in class 11 mathematics. Till now you till class 10 you learned only about quadratic equation, and if you get any root which has negative within root, then you used to ignore it, but from class 11 you will be learning about complex numbers also. So for this using complex numbers in Python, the data type or the numeric literal used is complex. Okay, so let's try to use these data types in float and complex. So if I just write here, let's say x equals to 41. What is it? It is an integer. How can we say confirm that it is an integer? Just by looking at it, but for reassuring it, you can use a function called type. So if I write type, 41 is stored in which variable? It is stored in the variable x. So if I write just type x and press the enter key, I will get the data type which is int, class int. So let's say I'm writing now x equals to 4.87, and then if I use type x, I will get it as class float. Why I am getting it as class float? Because it is a floating point numbers. Okay, complex number I will be discussing in details in the next chapter called data handling. Okay, I will not discuss complex number now. Also, if you want to see the data type of strings, then also you can say, so if I just write 1 2 3 within quotes, and if I use the type function, if I give type A, I will get the class as str. Str stands for string. But interestingly, if I do not enclose it within quotes and then use the type function, then I am getting the class as int itself. Okay, so how to check the type of literal? You can use it using the function type. You use the function type, and within the first bracket you give the variable where that particular value is being stored. Next we come to the next type of literals called Boolean literals. See, Boolean literals can be used to represent true or false type of values. Okay, for example, if I just write here, if I write here a equals to true, then if I want to see the literal type of a, I can just write type a, and you are getting class bool. Bool stands for Boolean. Boolean can recognize only the words true or false. So if I write b equals to false and just use the type function to check the data type or the literal type of b, then I'll get the class bool. Also, you should remember that you should not enclose true or false within quotes. Why? Because if you enclose true or false within quotes, then it will be shown as a string, not as a bool. So I'll just show you with an example. If I write a equals to within quotes true, and if I want to check the data types by writing type a, I am getting the class as true, not bool. Why I am not getting it as bool? Because I have enclosed it within quotes. So if you are dealing with Boolean literals, you should not enclose true and false within quotes. Let's move on. So these are the examples. A equals to true, and if I want to check the data type, I'll just use the type function. Similarly for false. Next, let's move on to the special literal called none. So this literal is used in Python to indicate something that has not been created. So if you just want to create a variable but do not want to assign any value to it, then you will use the literal called none. It is also used to indicate the end of list in Python. So, there is a data type in this one Python which is known as list. List comes under collection of values. For indicating the end of list also the non-literal is used. I will discuss more about list in the chapter on list. It will come at a later part of the syllabus. So, now I will not discuss about list here. So, let us give you an example. If I write y equals to none and just print y, you will get the result as none. Okay, so you can just check it out here. So, if I write, let us say y equals to none, and then if I just print y, I am getting the result as none. None means no value has been assigned to this particular variable. It will be basically used in stacks and queues, which you will get in your class 12. Next, let us move on to the next type of tokens, which are the operators. So, what are operators? It may be defined as the tokens that trigger some computation when applied to variables and other objects in an expression. Okay. So, operators are basically those tokens which does some computation when we apply it to certain variables or other objects. The variables or objects to which the computation is applied are known as operands, and those variables are known as operands. Let us try to understand it with the help of an example. So, for example, if I write x equals to 2 plus 3, the symbol plus, it is known as your operator. Okay. So, operator, what is the operator doing? Operator is helping the numbers to do some operation. Now, 2 and 3, these two are known as operands. So, the operator works on operands to give you the computed result, and whatever value you will get, that is the result. Okay. So, we can just check it out. So, if I write x equals to 2 plus 3, plus is the operator, 2 and 3 are the operands, and if I just display x, then whatever I am getting, that is 5, 5 is the computed final result. Next, let us see the names of the operators. I will not discuss the operators in details now, it will be discussed in the next chapter called data handling, but just I will just give you the names so that you can just get an overview as to how many operators are there in Python. So, first is the unary operators, unary, and the next is the binary operators. See, unary operators requires only one operand to operate. So, you can use this symbol like plus, minus, and this is called as a negation operator and the not operator. I will discuss about this with examples in the next chapter. Okay. So, just you need to remember that unary operators requires only one operand, and binary operators, they requires two operands to operate upon. For example, when I showed the recent example like x equals to 2 plus 3, that plus is known as the binary operator. Why binary operator? Because it required how many operands? It required two operands, which were 2 and 3. So, let us see the classification of binary operators. The classifications are arithmetic operators, which includes plus, minus, into, division, floor division, etc. And then bitwise operators, I will not discuss these in details in this chapter, it will come in the next chapter. Next, shift operators, identity operators, relational operators, it includes basically greater than, less than, equals to, not equals to, all these symbols. Next is the assignment operator, the symbol equal to is called as the assignment operator. Next is the logical operators, under which and, or, not, all these things comes. Do not worry, all these things will be discussed in details in the upcoming chapter. Next is the membership operator. So, this is the whole classification of operators available in Python. Okay. Next, we go to the next type of token, or the last type of token, which is the punctuators. So, what are punctuators? These may be defined as symbols that are used in programming languages to organize sentence structures and indicate the rhythm and emphasis of expressions, statements, and program structures. See, in English language, you use different punctuation symbols like full stop, comma, then exclamation symbols. They are basically used to indicate the emphasis or rhythm or the expression of a certain sentence. Similarly, punctuators are used, different types of punctuators are also used in Python. Thus, these are some of the examples given. For example, single quotes, double quotes, they are used in case of strings. Hash is used in case of certain objects and classes. Then backslash is used, just now you have seen, in case of slash n, or in case of multi-line string. Then bracket is used in case of functions. Then the third bracket is used in case of list, and the second bracket is used in case of dictionary. At the rate is used for tagging something, then comma, colon, all these things are also used for various purposes. Now you just need to know about the the definition of punctuators and the certain examples. Okay, so that's all for this particular part, but I have got two doubts. I'll just clarify those doubts now. So the first doubt is that how to print single quotes within the print statement. So for that, let's take an example. So if I write print within single quote, if I want to write it's the time to disco, and I'll just close the quotes and close the bracket and press the enter key, I'm getting an error here. Why I am getting an error? It is because I'm trying to display it's in it's I have this apostrophe. So for displaying the apostrophe, the solution is that you should not use single quotes. You should use double quotes in those strings which have apostrophe within the string also. So instead I will just delete the single quotes and I'll just put enclose it within double quotes. So if I enclose it within double quotes and press the enter key, I am getting the output as it was asked. Okay, this was the first doubt which was asked by a student, so I have clarified it here. And a second doubt was someone has asked, which is what is the use of the punctuator called semicolon. So see in other programming languages, semicolon are basically used to terminate one statement, but in Python also it can be used to terminate a statement, but it is not necessary to do so. But it can be used. How it can be used? If I write, see, let's say hello, and in the next line if I write world and just run this program, I am getting the output as hello world. So here if you give semicolon, I'll get the same output. So there is no difference, either you give semicolon at the end or you do not give, you will get the same output. But let's say you want to write both the statements in a single line itself. So if you write in this manner and then if you run it, you will get an error or the syntax error. But if you want to write more than one statements in a single line, then you can separate the statements with the help of a semicolon. So after hello, if I just put a semicolon then run it, I am getting the desired output. So semicolon is basically used for separating statements if you want to write more than one statements in a single line. Okay, I hope the doubts are also clear now. I'll see you again in the part 3 of this particular chapter. Thank you very much.